Starting things off at number 10, Tekashi 6ix9ine. I'm not sure how we got this far and didn't include Tekashi, who aside from a rapper, troll, and snitch, is definitely an influencer. When people talk about you as much as they've talked about this guy, you've reached influencer status. Either way, Tekashi obviously lied about his affiliations with certain people, completely flipping on them all when pursued in court. Granted, they did do things to him prior that I don't blame him necessarily for not respecting his former friends. That being said, as we know time and time again, Tekashi has found ways to trend and make headlines simply by doing dumb things, saying dumb things, or exposing people. However, while trying to act like he was out in the streets of Chicago while beefing with various Chicago rappers, it would turn out he actually had a whole crew and security team with him, literally just feet away, even though he was acting like he was out there all alone. Turns out he wasn't necessarily as bold as originally trying to let off to be. On to number 9, we got Lil Tay. You guys remember the youngest flexer of the century? Pepperidge Farms remembers. Although Lil Tay's Instagram and social media presence would go completely quiet until quite recently, which we'll get into in a little bit, it seemed she was really making a name for herself. Being seen with the likes of Jake Paul and Tekashi 6ix9ine, Lil Tay would soon be exposed after a leaked video in 2019 showed her brother, Jason Tian, directing her in what to say and do. That same year, it would be discovered that all the homes and cars that Lil Tay was flexing in were actually the property of Lil Tay's mother's clients. Her mother, Angela, would end up losing her real estate job because of this. However, Lil Tay, real name Claire Eileen Key Hope, has always maintained it's just been her. Now, bringing things up to date, as of the last week or so, a handful of Lil Tay's posts have been brought back on Instagram. Tons of more recent posts are now accusing Lil Tay's father, Chris Hope, and his wife of not only mistreating Lil Tay while she has been in their custody, but also stealing all of her money. The posts reference a GoFundMe set up by Tay's brother, which some people feel is a scam and others think is the real deal. As of this recording, it has raised just under $16,000 of the $150,000 goal. Now at number 8, we got Joey Salads. You guys may know him as Joseph Saladino if you live in New York, where he is trying to be a politician, specifically within the Republican Party. I shouldn't really say trying because he is one, but unfortunately, he hasn't seen much success as he recently ran for New York's 11th congressional district, even though he has no political experience, and after raising about $66,000, he withdrew. Some think he did it just to grow his brand, kind of like free publicity. Either way, prior to all this, back in 2016, Salads would post a video titled, I quote, "Trump car destroyed in black neighborhood social experiment." The video itself showed a car sitting in a parking lot with pro-Trump stickers and flags or signage all around it. After a few minutes of people walking by in the video, all black of course, pulling some of said promotional items off, a handful of black men begin bashing the car, destroying the windows, smashing the hood of the car. You guys get it. Joey ends the video saying that the black community is very violent toward Donald Trump and all of his supporters. It was really bad, and after receiving a ton of backlash and getting exposed, he would admit that he actually hired actors to smash up the car, which is pretty unbelievable. He would then remove the video and then repost it with fake video at the end of the title, letting everyone know that obviously it's a setup, not real, like he did before, and also claimed that he wanted to own up to his mistake and move on from it, which I think he's just an idiot. Number 7, we got the Kardashians. I don't even have one specific time where the Kardashians lied about something and then were caught. Like, there's so many of them. Most recently, of course, there was a bikini photo of Khloe, or Kendall's little Instagram mishap, which appeared to be photoshopped, showing her wearing that very tiny red bikini. Of course, there have been plenty of photos of the Kardashians showing potential edits and photoshops in their pictures, but at the end of the day, they're kind of just paid to always look good, so I understand why they do what they do. Although I don't necessarily agree with it, there's a reason why the entire family has been so successful. There's obviously a market supporting what they do is all I'm saying, guys. So I'm not saying don't support them, I'm just saying if you guys don't like it, don't support it. Otherwise, they're gonna just continue. Which, I mean, good for them, If they can make money, let them monetize their brand, who cares? But like, all their pictures and videos, everything's been edited, let's be real. And they've been caught. Now on to 6, Sinead Claremont, one half of the Claremont twins. This one unfortunately doesn't end so well. Story here is Sinead was sentenced to a year in prison after she pled guilty to wire fraud. The charge stemmed from a night she went to see a friend for the night, we'll say, like a friend, James Alessi, who died the same evening. So what happened? Well, according to Sinead, the 42-year-old real estate broker invited her over to his apartment in Manhattan. However, Sinead left after a short little while because, as far as she was concerned, James was a drunken mess and she didn't want to deal with it. Before she left, however, Sinead did steal his debit card information. Turns out Alessi was actually overdosing from a mix of booger sugar and other things, which I unfortunately can't say on here, but it starts with F and it rhymes with retinol, so I'm sure you guys can figure that one out. Alessi was found dead in his apartment the next day, to which Sinead had no idea. Over the course of a few months, she would go on to buy luxury items such as designer shoes and expensive flights to who knows where. It's believed she spent around $200,000 between her purchases and wiring herself some cash before actually getting caught and arrested. Halfway at 5, we got Dan Bilzerian. We've all heard the name, but only some know the story, being left a large sum of money by his father, we're talking a trust fund, Bilzerian would eventually learn to love the game of poker, turning $750 into a couple of $100,000, or so the story goes. But it wouldn't be until taking his talents online that the brand would explode. Danny Boy here quickly rose to fame on Instagram, posting obnoxiously masculine photos of him, usually topless, with tons of barely dressed women holding guns with cigars in their mouths. It's like, if you were to stereotypically think of like a bro, this is it. And to no surprise, people ate it up. After growing a massive following of tens of millions, it would soon be revealed he was renting his $65 million mansion and was in fact months behind on his rent. Oh boy. His poker playing ability also had been questioned, with many claiming he's not necessarily as good as he claims to be, and many just assuming he's lived off of his trust fund while playing into this whole facade and trying to build a brand off of it. Yikes. Now at number 4, we got Katie Sorensen. Oh boy, this is a rough one, folks. So Katie is a mommy influencer, which I guess is now a big thing nowadays. I really don't know. Either way, she went viral after sharing a story involving her children and an apparent attempt at taking them away from her. So long story short, she made a video claiming a couple behind her at a store made a comment about her children and at one point tried to grab her stroller. However, it would be later revealed, as per Katie's original statement to police, that she claimed a couple, I quote, made comments concerning the children's appearance as they walked behind her and followed her to the car, only leaving when they saw someone else nearby. The police then released a photo of the couple and made it clear before any charges would be laid that they would need to resolve inconsistencies between Katie's original statement to police and what she said after in her viral video. The couple immediately made contact with police denying the allegations, and as per police, I quote, "To date, the investigation has produced no evidence or witnesses corroborating the account provided by the reporting party. Evidence gathered has served to support the account provided by the couple from the store." Some felt Sorensen's claims were racially motivated, given that the couple was of Latino descent. An anonymous family member told BuzzFeed, I quote, "Somewhere in her mind, she sincerely misconstrued this brown couple innocently shopping at a craft store and discussing their own grandchildren as activity that was somehow threatening to her family." On to number 3, we got Natalia Taylor. Taylor kind of exposed herself, and although she lied, it appeared to be to prove a point. Posting photos to her Instagram with the marked location of Bali, it turns out Taylor was actually doing a photo shoot at a local IKEA, using their pre-made rooms and sets to fool her followers. Following the footsteps of Gabby Hanna, who faked a trip to Coachella on her Instagram, Taylor made a YouTube video explaining how everything went down. Although some of her followers realized something was up, as all of Taylor's photos in Bali appeared to be indoors, others were genuinely duped. So clearly her message was well received, as it just goes to show what you see online isn't always what you get. So don't be fooled, guys. I'm not actually this handsome, muscular, and funny in person. It's all an act. Fooled ya. At number 2, you got Daryl Aiden Yao, a prominent photographer in Singapore with over 100,000 followers on Instagram. Yao was exposed for trying to pass off some stock images as his own. Oh boy. Upon being exposed, he would delete some images and start to credit others that were previously posted. Part of his apology included, I quote, "The outrage regarding how I have conducted myself is justified, and I accept full responsibility for my actions and all consequences that arise from those actions. I was wrong to have claimed that stock images and other people's work were my own. I was also wrong to have used false captions that misled my followers and those who viewed my images. Having marketed myself as a photographer, I fell far short of what was expected of me and disappointed those who believed or wanted to believe in me. For all of that, I apologize." He claimed to have paid for the stock images and given credit prior, but that was disputed among many in the community. Now at number 1, we got Kayla Massa. If you've never heard of this influencer, it's likely because she's been in jail for the last little while, or so I think, officially being charged on February 13th, 2020. Talk about a Valentine's Day present. I know it's the next day, I'm saying like knowing your anyways. Dating back to July of 2018, Kayla would be investigated and later charged with conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud. To summarize, Kayla, who at one point had an Instagram account with over 330,000 followers, would scam her followers out of money, about $1.5 million. Kayla would post her wealth frequently to Instagram and every now and then would post opportunities for her followers to make money as well. She would sell this opportunity as totally legitimate and of course legal, but obviously it was the total opposite. Kayla would claim she needed the victims' bank cards and PIN numbers, but they could take all their money out to prove she wouldn't be stealing from them. She would then deposit fraudulent money orders into their accounts and withdraw the cash from ATMs before the bank or victim realized what had gone on. So when the money order was deemed fraudulent, those who gave Kayla their information would have the money deducted from their accounts, and when they tried to reach out to Kayla, well, they were blocked, unsurprisingly. Big scam, went on for a while. She got caught. Boom, you got exposed.
In at number 10, EDP445. Bryant Moreland, YouTuber known as EDP445, was just caught in 4K by YouTube channel Chet Goldstein, run by a man named Alex Rosen, for trying to interact with an girl. The whole thing was actually caught on camera too, with Moreland actually getting confronted. Moreland thought he was talking to a year-old girl, but it was a decoy. The two exchanged flirty text messages. And this channel is actually known for similar sting operations, setting up meetings online with men who believe that they're interacting with girls. Rosen said that he set up multiple fake Instagram profiles, including one of the girl that he ended up interacting with, and messaged Moreland on his verified Instagram account. In the wake of the exposing, EDP445 has now deleted all content on his channel with over 2 million subscribers. And I am personally just so happy that he was caught and hope that justice is served here. In at number 9, Charli D'Amelio. Charli D'Amelio and her entire family were called out big time after it was exposed that the family was on vacation in the Bahamas during the pandemic. Like, are we really surprised? The worst part about the whole situation was that just days earlier, Charli was lecturing her fans on why they needed to still social distance, saying on Instagram Live, quote, "If you're using this time to hang out with your friends since you don't have school, I'm asking you to please stop being so inconsiderate to others. You may think, oh, this isn't going to affect me, it's not that bad. You're thinking you're a teenager, you're immune. You're putting other people at risk to get hurt and be in pain." But it seemed that Charli was not abiding by her own guidelines because the family also brought along Noah Beck, Chase Hudson, and Maddie Monroe on the trip as well. The sisters tried to hide the trip by not posting about it on their own social media accounts, but TikTok Room caught them in 4K. In at number 8, Hilaria Baldwin. Hilaria Baldwin was recently exposed for lying about her Spanish heritage, now that old clips are resurfacing where she faked using a Spanish accent. It started when one tweet went viral, saying, quote, "You have to admire Hilaria Baldwin's commitment to her decade-long grift where she impersonates a Spanish person." And the replies of that savage tweet were filled with tons of videos of Hilaria using a Spanish accent and claiming that she was from Spain. However, internet sleuths got to the truth, and she actually isn't Spanish at all. Her parents literally just vacationed in Spain a lot when she was growing up. Also, the worst part, Hilaria isn't even her real name. Her name is just Hillary. One clip that went super viral was of her cooking a meal and forgetting the English word for cucumber while speaking in a Spanish accent. And at number 7, James Charles. James Charles was recently exposed for engaging with over Snapchat. And the worst part was that when he was first called out, he tried to shame the accusers and act like they had all duped him and lied about their ages. However, when more and more allegations came out, it was clear that many of the accusers had their ages right on their social media profiles, easily visible. Or it was just easy to find after a small bit of sleuthing. After being fully caught in 4K, James ended up apologizing and admitting to the behavior that he was accused of. His excuse was that he was desperate for love and ignored red flags. But with all the proof that is mounted against him, it's clear that he uses his fame and power to prey on boys. In at number 6, Tana Mongeau. Tana Mongeau was recently called out for lying. Twitter account Def Noodles posted that she had been kicked out of a bar in LA called The Abbey because she was filming someone who was receiving medical attention. Def Noodles even included a video of Tana fighting with security. But Tana, of course, did not like this and responded back, quote, "This is not at all what happened. We left because everyone had to due to an emergency inside. You can't just slander people based on assumptions, Def Noodles, LMAO." Then in response to that, he hit back with another video of Tana showing that nobody else was leaving the bar other than Tana and her posse that were getting kicked out. The account also included a story from one of Tana's friends that said that they were escorted out. So clearly, like, enough proof to know that that's what actually happened. Halfway at number 5, Jeff Wittek. So Jeff Wittek was recently exposed for hiding what happened with his eye. Of course, I'm not blaming him whatsoever for this. He deserves to control the narrative of his own story. When Jeff first revealed that he had badly hurt himself, he never told the reason why, and when pressured about it, he gave multiple different answers. One time he claimed that he was in a car accident. Another time he claimed that he was robbed, leaving fans wondering if the entire thing was actually just fake. But through his docuseries, he recently exposed that he hurt himself very badly doing a stunt for one of David Dobrik's vlogs. He also exposed that David was the person who caused the accident. And if you guys haven't seen that, I highly recommend you do. Amazing, amazing docuseries. And at number 4, Gabby Hanna. Gabby Hanna is in yet another feud, this time fighting with fellow influencer Trisha Paytas. Honestly, I'm not even entirely sure what led up to this, but Gabby called out Trisha for lying about the fact that they were not good friends. I know it's a strange one, but apparently Gabby claimed that they were good friends, Trisha said that they weren't. That was kind of the vibe. And Gabby tried to expose this by showing a text message conversation between them where Trisha actually said, quote, "I'm tired of the internet not knowing that we are friends." But after that, the internet started showing old clips of Gabby's where she says says multiple different times that her and Trisha are not actually good friends. And of course, this is totally a dumb thing to even be arguing about, but it's definitely a, diss you moment. In at number 3, Addison Rae. Addison Rae, like a lot of other celebrities, has complained about the paparazzi hounding her in the past. But she was recently exposed for actually tipping off the paparazzi herself. This is apparently what the Kardashians did to get famous back in the day. While Addison was out in New York, she was getting photographed all over town, even though she wasn't staying in a paparazzi-heavy hotel. Page 6 was told that Addison was mostly hoping for the paparazzi to take pictures of her outfits. I guess she's trying to elevate her style game. It's assumed that Addison got this tip from the Kardashians, as she's newly BFFs with Kourtney, which is really just a whole other topic of conversation that we won't be getting into now. In at number 2, Andreas Lopez. Andreas Lopez was recently exposed for hooking up with a and he didn't even have a chance to deny it, as a video of him on a phone call with the mother of the accuser started going viral as the accusation came out. On the phone call, you can hear Andreas telling the mother his age. The mother then says the girl's age of 14. The mother even says that Andreas could go to jail for his actions. Near the end of the call, the mother tells Andreas to meet up with her so they can talk more about the situation, which we're assuming that they did later on. Andreas's lawyers later commented on the situation, saying it was entrapment and the whole thing was done to set him up. But either way, the situation is still very And finally, at number 1, Nikita Dragun. Trisha Paytas and Nikita Dragun got into a huge feud a few weeks ago, where they were both exposing tons of old clips of each other. It started when Nikita tweeted out about the upcoming season of her Snapchat show, and Trisha replied, quote, on Snapchat with a laugh face. Of course, making fun of the fact that her show was being featured on essentially a dying platform. But Nikita clapped back, quote, 30 million viewers and a billboard on Sunset. But anyways, let me go back to filming my Netflix show. And after that, everyone was just really surprised about her announcement that she was going to be getting a Netflix show. But it recently came out that Nikita was not actually going to be having her own show, but instead it was actually a show about the Hype House, which most people didn't even know that Nikita was a part of. Drama channel Adam McIntyre responded to that news saying, quote, please, I'm just remembering Nikita was bragging to Trisha about being on Netflix, but in reality, it was the Hype House show. Yeah, I think we all have the same thoughts about that situation.
Kicking us off at number 10, we got Haley Pham. The YouTuber decided to make a little video about her recent trip to Europe, which for some odd reason is no longer available. Her Instagram post in Greece is no longer available either. You guys may figure out why after I tell you why she was called out. Pham went to Greece on a vacation and in her video decided to talk about how negative her experience apparently was while in the country. After complaining about messing up her own hotel and flights, she then blamed the fact that she got sick on the country itself, which I don't know, guys. To no surprise, most of the comments on her video were commenting that Pham was spoiled and entitled, while others claimed she was simply stating her opinion, and that's totally allowed. Pham said, I quote, now this is just a mini review of Santorini, just in case you see the Instagram pictures and you've always wanted to go there. I highly discourage you from going to Greece. There's nothing to do there because there's no beach. It's just a cliff. So there's shopping, but then you could barely even maneuver through the streets because it's so crowded. On to number 9, Bondi Boost influencers. There's about 3 or 4 influencers total here, including Indy Clinton, Gia Gadice, Veda Stevens, and Shannon Lawson. Vada Stevens, maybe? Who cares? All of whom promoted Bondi Boost, a hair supplement company. The only issue is, in their posts promoting said product, it appears the product has never been opened. Now, of course, you could argue that they had used the product prior and were taking photos with brand new items. However, for all 4 of them to have that be the case seems a bit sus, no? With Indy's photo, you can clearly see the white safety seal is still on. Gia here also posted a photo with a shampoo and conditioner, claiming she'd used them for weeks, even though they appeared unopened. It's a little awkward. Vada Stevens was holding a few bottles that literally still had the plastic wrapping on them, which makes it very obvious she had not used those exact products. The Instagram account Celeb Spellcheck appeared to catch the funny or disappointing truth that these influencers were likely pushing a product they never used before. Shocker. Number 8, Ann Salamanca. So this influencer, who is originally from Alabama, but is known to hundreds of thousands of fans in the Philippines as Mika Salamanca, got herself into some trouble while posting a video to TikTok. While traveling from Manila to Hawaii, Salamanca disobeyed the rule that all travelers need to quarantine for 14 days as per the COVID-19 restrictions. After arriving in Honolulu on July 6th, it appears just 4 days later, she was out in public, being seen dancing and eating. Sources claim Salamanca apologized, but also stated that law enforcement told her if she tested negative, she could go out. Hawaii Attorney General Claire Connors argued that, saying, I quote, none of my investigators would convey that information as it is incorrect. The fact Ms. Salamanca Danica has so many followers makes her actions that much more dangerous and concerning. The spread of misinformation could have very severe consequences during an emergency situation like we are in now. She ended up being out on $2,000 bail, but still, like, what a mess. At number 7, the fake jet influencers. Again, there's a few here, but more or less, these influencers paid a service in which you get to take a photo shoot on a private jet setting. Makes for a great photo shoot, and apparently to some influencers, a great opportunity to let your followers think you're living a life you're potentially not. Did someone say social media is ingenuine? No. Never. One influencer, Kennedy Simone, was called out on Twitter for posting pictures on the set, while another influencer, Azra Mian, was also found guilty of doing the same. Twitter users were quick to also show how both women quickly edited the captions to reflect that they weren't on a real private jet or weren't actually going somewhere. Of course, after they were called out. Strange time, folks. Let me tell ya, strange times indeed. Now at number 6, Casey Sosnowski. Casey here actually got exposed by her own sister when the influencer posed for a photo shoot while on a hike. Casey's sister Carly took to her own Twitter account to expose her sister, sharing the photo with the caption, "My sister said she was going hiking. This is our backyard." The tweet would go viral very quickly, with over 40,000 retweets and 258,000 likes at the time of this recording. As you can see from the tweeted photo and the updated one, Casey has since changed her photo's caption, likely to save her any more embarrassment. That being said, I don't know, I don't think this is the end of the world, but I mean, it's a little silly for sure, but really that big of a deal? More so more funny, but still. She made the caption like, "Love being in nature," and then she was like, "My backyard or a hike? You'll never know." And it's like, we all know. Halfway now at 5, we got Jake Paul. I won't lie to you guys, I don't want to keep using Jake on every list, but it's almost impossible not to include him with all the stuff he does day in and day out. This time around, he claimed he had early signs of CTE and then retracted his statement because you could only see whether or not someone has CTE after they die. So I mean, yeah, not a good thing to say. When speaking about his dedication to boxing prior to his fight with Ben Askren, Paul explained, I quote, "You know, it's a dangerous sport, and that's why when people question my dedication to it, it's like I'm showing up every single day. I'm putting my mental health on the line. My brain is on the line. Like you said, I've gone and gotten brain scans and have early signs of CTE, but I love this sport and wouldn't trade it for anything else. And I'm a fighter, and people will see that. Whether it's after Saturday night or whether it's a year from now, they will see that I'm a fighter." After receiving a ton of backlash, Paul took to Twitter saying, I quote, "I want to retract my comments made about CTE as it relates to me and my medical history. It's a very serious condition that I should not have misspoken about." You think? Number 4, Jessie Taylor, also known as Jessie Taylor, duh. I've spoken about this one before, but it feels like it's been a while, so I decided to bring her back once again. For those of you who don't know or remember Jessie, she went viral after having her Instagram account accidentally disabled, although she thought it was because of people who didn't like her, or I guess wanted some revenge or wanted to hold her accountable, we'll say. This led to her making a YouTube video which would go viral, showing Jessie bawling her eyes out, explaining how she can't get a normal job and that losing her Instagram account feels like death or a murder. Sources claim that she also called the cops because it felt like a murder, and after being exposed for old racist videos, she would try to defend herself. I quote her saying, "I'm not a hateful person, I'm a Sagittarius." Okay, I don't get jealous. I can't relate to hateful and jealous people because I've never been a hateful, jealous person. So that's solid. She's a Sag, guys. It's very solid. She's a Sagittarius. Sagittarius? Sagittarius. Not Sagittarius. Sagittarius, I think. It's all bullshit. Who cares? Am I an Aries? Am I an Aries? Who knows? Who cares? I'm an Aries. Fiery personality. Fire! Cause I'm spicy, baby! Number 3, we got the couple engagement. Now this scavenger hunt video / proposal had a lot of people thinking it was planned, as there was a PDF that was sent to brands months prior in hopes of getting sponsorships. The proposal between Gabrielle Grossman and Marissa Casey Fuchs, I think, if you guys see how you spell her name, I could say it another way, but I think that won't be allowed. Either way, guys, on Instagram, she's known as the Fashion Ambitionist, and she had a lot of people talking back in 2019, as she appeared to be genuinely surprised by the proposal as it played out in real time, but many didn't believe it. The 3-day event, which saw Marissa go from New York to Miami to Paris, would end with a live stream proposal, which Marissa admitted at one point she had a feeling may have been the case. Still, she swore she knew nothing of the planned proposal, although the deck that was shared looked incredibly professional, and although there was some brands involved, they were all companies Marissa had previously worked with. It was a very strange situation, with Gabriel claiming he just wanted to do something nice, and a lot of people questioning if it was legit or not. As far as they're concerned, it was totally legit. She had no idea, and Gabriel set everything up with the help of a few friends, but really, who knows? At number 2, Jenny Ambula. Well, this influencer's page is no longer available, and that's likely because she was arrested and charged, along with her father, Omar, who was a border agent in Colombia. Story here is that Omar, who worked as a mid-level customs agent, would allow untaxed goods into the country for bribes, which he would then send to his daughter, Jenny. Jenny would use that money to buy designer clothing and very flashy cars while in Miami, and then post her new purchases on Instagram, which is actually what led to the Colombian authorities to put 2 and 2 together in the first place. Yeah, ain't that a shame? Aside from sending hundreds of thousands to his daughter, it's believed Jenny's tuition at the University of Miami was also paid for using these funds, but I don't think anyone knows what happened to that money. You know, like the university forgot about it, the government forgot about it. It's very interesting. They seized the assets, but that government funded money. No one knows where it went. Now at number 1, Carolyn Calloway. This was a big old mess as the influencer known for her writing tried to do a little tour of her own for $165 a ticket, and it was a total mess. Offering a creative workshop, as she called it, Calloway promised the ticket would include a 4-hour seminar with a coffee, a personalized journal, a care package, and a presentation on the emotional and spiritual dimensions of making art and building your social media brand, as per the New York Post. Originally planned with stops in New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and London, Calloway would end up relocating the Boston, Chicago, and Philly events to Brooklyn due to awful planning. Those who attended in Washington and New York were very disappointed, leading to Calloway to take to Twitter in a now deleted tweet, reading, I quote, "I take full responsibility for letting my total inexperience with event planning and greed create a situation where the details of the tour were ever changing, preparation was inadequate, and the event did not match the description by the time it went on. I also agree $165 was too much to charge for tickets." Just a total mess of a situation, and she got a lot of backlash and was just exposed for not knowing what she was doing. It's okay though, she apologized. Starting us off at number 10, Danielle Bregoli. Now you guys may or may not remember, about a year and a half ago, Bad Baby, which is Danielle's rap name, got into a handful of disputes with fellow rapper slash entertainer Whoa Vicky, which I don't know what happened to her, but that's alright. So long story short, Bregoli tried to run up on Vicky while Vicky was in the recording studio. Video actually shows Bregoli appearing to get beat up by Vicky, at least from the angles that were released. You saw Vicky on top of Bregoli, so take from that what you will. That being said, Bregoli would take to her social media shortly after to say she didn't get beat up, even though there were a lot of videos showing the contrary. Aside from this, she claims Vicky wanted to fight, but again, another video shows Bregoli literally running up at Vicky while the latter had her feet up sitting in a chair with no intention of getting physical. So, kinda lied, kinda got caught in 4K. Boom! Number 9, self-proclaimed Your Highness Chow B. Leo. This story is absolutely bonkers, as Chow is using filters to make herself appear much younger than she actually is. Now I understand some people look younger or older than they actually are, but Chow here was either doing something very smart or very scummy, depending on how you view it, I guess. Either way, she would use filters, appearing to be a very pretty, youthful lady. Now, it's unclear if she ever necessarily said her age. It's one thing if she lied about that, but if they never asked, then it's kind of their problem. Either way, she would gain over 100,000 subscribers, and during a joint live stream with another streamer, she would start receiving donations. At one point, fans asked for a face reveal, but Xiao said only after receiving 100,000 yen, which is about 12,000 bucks American, will she do a reveal. Reports claim people were donating, with some of the largest ones reaching close to $6,000. But at some point, her filter stopped working, revealing her true identity, leaving a lot of fans feeling duped and some very angry. On to number 8, Lisa Lee. You guys may or may not remember this one, as Lee was called out by her landlord for not living the life she claimed to live. Prior to being exposed, Lee claimed to be one of those wealthy influencers who lived a very lavish lifestyle and made people envious of the incredible life she lived. However, it turns out she was literally living a double life, as Lee's landlord, who was referred to as Miss Chen, exposed how she really lives. After ignoring Miss Chen's calls, it seems the landlord was fed up, so she gave an up-close and personal tour of Lee's absolutely filthy home. According to Chen, the apartment was so dirty, a professional cleaning service refused to clean it, and she had to get the police involved to deal with Lee's many overdue utility bills. Yikes. Number 7, Hush Puppy. This guy's a real piece of work simply because I just can't imagine taking advantage of people like this, let alone people who consider themselves fans of your work. Real name Ramon Abbas, but known online as Hush Puppy, it seems this influencer, like many on the list, gained a large following by exuding his wealth. However, it seems the wealth may not have been as genuine as people thought, which eventually led to the arrest of Hush Puppy and numerous charges brought against him related to cybercrimes. Although his wealth was likely real, such as the numerous cars, the private jets, and designer clothing, his job wasn't so legit. Upon his arrest, authorities claimed numerous phones and laptops, as well as tens of millions in assets and cash were seized. Sources say his birthday post on Instagram helped authorities track him down, and his arrest was also captured on camera. In a nutshell, it seems he was accused of running an online scam and pretty much just stealing people's information. Number 6, Numain. This is some pretty random TikTok drama, but user Numain, which I hope I'm saying right, real name Kane Trujillo, has recently received a lot of backlash being accused of stealing from creators. More specifically, numerous creators have shown side-by-side comparisons of Kane's videos next to other creators being nearly identical. With 2.7 million followers, to no surprise, a lot of people thought the work was his own. Yet it seems he was ripping off other creators on the app and passing it off as his own work, with no credit ever given to the originals. Fans have taken to Twitter and his personal TikTok account's comment section to call him out, but Kane has defended his actions, saying that he's just an actor who makes other creators' content better. Take what you will from this, guys, but it seems this whole thing is just getting started right here. Now halfway at 5, Johanna Emma Olsen. This one is incredible because even though she was caught lying and admitted to it, she still kind of stood by her lie. She just committed and this was the hill she was willing to die on, so I won't lie, it's kind of admirable. So Olsen here is a travel influencer and was given an all expenses paid trip to Paris to take some pics wearing specific clothing. Talk about a sweet gig. Olsen did just that, but apparently didn't like the original photos. So like most influencers, she decided to Photoshop the pictures, but when I tell you a beginner could have done a better job, like I'm sorry Johanna, but you really put minimal effort here, eh? In one photo, she's floating on a bridge, while another shows the top of an umbrella completely missing. After being caught, she would be featured on numerous talk shows across Sweden, and still has the photos up explaining, I quote, "I just wanted to make clear that I was in Paris, but I did Photoshop the background, but I'm not going to take them down because it's a collaboration and they're nice pictures. It's a good outfit." So long story short, she just didn't like the background, so she Photoshopped herself, put in a different background, but it was the same pictures of her in Paris. On to number 4, Fiona Moriarty McLaughlin. This one was a big old yikes-a-rooney. During the Black Lives Matter protest, while shops were boarding up their windows to hopefully prevent any damage being caused, this influencer apparently saw an opportunity. In a video which was initially shared on Twitter but would quickly go viral on numerous platforms, Fiona could be seen holding a drill and wood as if she's actually doing anything. After the camera pans to show another man taking a photo, you can see and hear Fiona tell the man actually boarding up the store, "Thank you so much." She then walks back to her Mercedes and drives off. The video has racked up almost 30 million views on Twitter alone, but I'm sure hundreds of millions across all platforms. She tried to say it was a misunderstanding and that she was being heckled by the people filming her, and that it wasn't just a photo op, but I mean, I don't know guys, seems like she got caught to me. Definitely much more to the story though, so check it out if you guys are interested. Number 3, Carissa C. Walker. Now I will say this is news that broke just a couple days ago, and the information I currently have available is limited because, well, you know, it's subject to change by the time you guys actually see the video. That being said, music producer Mustard, who is formerly known as DJ Mustard, recently took to Instagram to call Walker out, claiming she stole $50,000 from him for likes. Mustard claims he hired her as a personal shopper and stylist for him, but as per his Instagram story, I quote, "Today I found out that she ran my credit cards up over 50K buying stuff for herself, purses, shoes, shades, and other stuff. This is crazy and just wrong. All for Instagram. Mind you, she gets paid 6K a month to shop, that's 72K a year. You just messed that up for some Instagram likes?" He also shared a message which he claims came from Carissa reading, I quote, "Truly am so sorry. Should have never got to this point. My temptation turned to greed and I am so sorry." As of now, she hasn't spoken on the accusations. On to number 2, Ravana. This vegan influencer lied to her followers, and obviously when they saw she was eating fish, well, they were very upset. Real name Yvonne Mendoza. Back in 2019, this vegan vlogger was featured in another vlogger's video with what appeared to be fish on her plate. After rumors started to arise, she made a video titled "This is what is happening," which is no longer available, which is interesting. A lot of these videos, apologies and explanation videos of past dramas, they always disappear like years later. Anyways, in the video she explained how she tried being vegan, but after the negative impacts it had on her personally, she decided to recently change her diet. I quote her saying, "I was vegan, completely vegan for almost 6 years. It's been 2 months since I started incorporating eggs and fish in my diet." Her video started by explaining she, I quote, "just wants to be completely honest and authentic and truthful with her fans." However, many weren't quick to accept her apology. She got trolled a lot on both Instagram and YouTube, with people asking why, if she's been dealing with problems for years, she would promote this diet, and continue to promote it if she was no longer on it. Others included a handful of fish emojis and just straight up insults. Number 1, we got Brittany Dawn. This fitness influencer was accused and actually admitted to scamming a handful of her followers, yet it seems the controversy only helped grow her brand, which I really don't understand. Anyway, Dawn offered what she claimed to be personalized fitness and nutrition plans, charging followers up to $300 each, only for them to receive nothing too personal, if anything at all. Fans also complained those who criticized Dawn would have their comments removed or blocked altogether. One former customer told Insider, I quote, "Dating back to 2016, possibly earlier, she has been scamming clients by not sending their fitness and nutritional ebooks, not following through with online coaching, not conducting weekly check-ins, and not individualizing workout packets." Brittany repeatedly deleted and blocked clients who would call this to her attention. Of course, her apology video has since been deleted, but a Facebook group with thousands of upset customers has been made, leading to many getting refunds of only up to 50%. This in itself was another issue.